Real Country 1430 AM and 1073 FM WRDN. This is the WRDN Morning Farm Report. I'm Brian Winnekins. Joining us this morning, Dan Erdmann. He's Farm Rescue Marketing Program Manager. And Farm Rescue is getting ready to start services here in Wisconsin in July. And we're going to talk with Dan a little bit about that here this morning. And thank you to our Newsmakers segment sponsors, including Alcivia Co-op, Anabasilo, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, Compeer Financial, Osteoplastics, Synergy Co-op, Wisconsin Farmers Union, Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, and the Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board. Dan, thanks for joining us this morning. Now, during Commodity Classic, I had a chance to talk with some of the folks from Farm Rescue to find a little bit more about what Farm Rescue does, but quickly explain, what does Farm Rescue do?
Yeah, so thank you for having me first and foremost here, Brian, and appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more about our nonprofit. Farm Rescue is a 501c3, and our whole goal is to help farm families in a time of crisis, whether that be a major injury, illness, or natural disaster. We can bring in the volunteers and equipment to help during any time of the growing season, basically. So this time of year, obviously, we're heading into harvest, and it's going to be a busy time of year for us with helping a lot of different farm families. And we also do planting. We make some hay. We do some hay hauling. We can feed livestock. So just basically trying to fill in those gaps wherever they might be in need of support. And Farm Rescue's been around since 2006 was our first year of operations, and we've helped over 1,100 farm families throughout that time. And again, it's all thanks to the ultimate team effort. It's volunteers, it's our small staff. It's a tremendous, support system of sponsors and individual donors that believe in this mission and help us, extend that helping hand to those farm families in times of crisis.
So Farm Rescue now expanding to Wisconsin, things will get underway. So tell us how this is going to work here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, so we were in 8 states. Wisconsin will be our ninth added to our service map. And basically it's just what I talked about. It's trying to connect with those families that are going through, maybe someone in the family dealing with a health issue, cancer treatments that are keeping them off the farm. It doesn't have to be the main operator, because everyone is an important cog in that machine in making that operation go. So it's unexpected injuries. It's things like flooding, drought, just wherever we can lend a hand is why we're here. So launching into Wisconsin is always a challenge when we launch those operations in a new area, because we're just not well known. There's no track record, and it's about gaining trust, and that's always kind of the biggest hurdle for us, because people see us as, why would we want these outsiders to come in and help on our operation? And the greatest thing I can say to put people's minds at ease, those families' minds at ease, is that it's neighbors helping neighbors. It's an age-old concept. That's what Farm Rescue is all about. It's just that our neighbors come from a little bit further down the road. So we want to be there to get you through that, hopefully minor setback, and get you on to the next growing portion of the growing season.
Talking with Dan Erdmann, Farm Rescue Marketing Program Manager this morning. Farm Rescue is expanding services in Wisconsin starting July 1st. So you mentioned a lot of volunteers, and I guess that would be the first question that maybe a family or farm family in need. Where do these volunteers all come from?
That's really the incredible story behind Farm Rescue too, is that our volunteers come from all, portions of the country. I think we've had volunteers sign up from 49 different states throughout our history. So all these people have a connection to agriculture. We have a lot of retired farmers and even active farmers that are volunteering with Farm Rescue, but it's people from all walks of life. It's, pilots, pastors, military veterans, law enforcement officers. For a time, we had a rocket scientist from NASA that would come up every spring to help us with our planning assistance efforts. So it's people that just have some type of connection, and maybe they grew up on a farm. They would spend time on their grandparents' farm growing up, and everyone has that background. They're trained in the machines. And what we take a lot of pride in is just working closely with each and every family that we support. So it's doing the work in the exact same fashion that you would be doing it if you could. And so that's led to longevity for our organization, is we're never going to come in and tell someone how, we think you should be doing something. We want to do it the exact same way that you're doing it. And again, it's incredible, connections that are formed between the volunteers that are out there performing that work and the families that they're supporting. And that's really the silver lining of all this is watching that firsthand and just seeing the impact of the services that are provided through Farm Rescue.
Talking with Dan Erdmann, he is the Farm Rescue Marketing Program Manager this morning as Farm Rescue expanding services into Wisconsin starting July 1st. So someone watching or listening says, I don't need services, but hey, I'll be a volunteer. How do people become volunteers?
I'll say our website is kind of a one-stop shop. Everything you need to know about Farm Rescue, and there's different ways to get involved, whether that is signing up as a volunteer. Again, we exist because of the generosity of others. So if you feel called to support us financially, obviously a donation goes a long way in supporting more families in times of crisis. And then a big part of all this is, a lot of times it's the families reaching out to us themselves in a time of crisis. Again, whether that be a medical issue, an unexpected injury on the farm, but we rely very heavily on referrals too. And like I said, it's neighbors helping neighbors, and in so many areas nowadays, the neighbors are still able to help, and that's fantastic. And we love to see that, but it sometimes puts a little more strain on their operations too. Those windows of opportunity are so small during the growing season. Oftentimes they have their own acres to cover, and they want to help. Farm Rescue is another way of helping your neighbor. And so those referrals go a long way, and it means a lot, I think, to those families when, neighbors, relatives, just people in the community are taking notice of a difficult situation that they're going through. It's never easy to ask for help. We've seen that, throughout our history. Farmers and ranchers are very prideful people for good reason. So just to have that little nudge maybe from someone close to them who really cares about them, it goes a long way in connecting us. And obviously we're not just going to show up at a farm. Those referrals, we call the family and explain, what we offer. It's a free service. There's no ulterior motive to this. It's just, again, it's neighbors helping neighbors, trying to get you through a difficult time. So it's all at farmrescue.org. You can, again, sign up to volunteer, make a donation, apply for assistance if you are a family, or make a referral for someone that you know of that's going through a difficult time that might benefit from, again, in this case in Wisconsin, harvest assistance is what we're able to provide.
Talking with Dan Erdmann, Farm Rescue Marketing Program Manager. Again, Farm Rescue starting their services now in Wisconsin as of July 1st. And a lot of the planting, haying, livestock feeding, harvest. Obviously, Wisconsin's America's dairyland. There might be someone going, well, I can volunteer, but what about helping milk the cows or clean the parlor or help with some of the business side of this? If they're an accountant, let's say, hey, can I, do you need help with that? Is there plans to maybe expand into those areas as well?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it throughout our history. At this point in time, we're not really equipped to help with, milk the cows and that aspect of things. And I realize, yeah, Wisconsin is a huge portion of that dairy sector for our country. And there are many opportunities to help in our operations. You don't have to be, skilled at, the planting a crop or running a combine. There's other things that you can help with. And like I said, sometimes it's just spreading knowledge of what we do. So that ambassadorship can go a long way for our operations too. So obviously it'll be kind of an uphill climb to start in Wisconsin because we are brand new, and it takes time to gain that trust. And so if you're just willing to help us spread word of this mission, and again, that there's no ulterior motives to what we're doing, it's truly a good Samaritan effort in trying to help those families. Yeah, feel free to check out our website and get signed up as a volunteer.
That website again is farmrescue.org. That's farmrescue.org. That's Dan Erdmann, Farm Rescue Marketing Program Manager. You're listening to the WRDN Morning Farm Report.